Okay, everyone, Sunday morning. We're just coming up to 7 a.m. in Melbourne. The sun is rising. It's going to be a lovely day. Not sure we can say the same about Glasgow and Celtic Park, where about 20 minutes ago the game has finished. Stevie is there. Stevie, Celtic 5, Raith Rovers 0. How are you?
Serious answer. Freezing. No, don't know why I'm not talking like this all video. There should be, and my hands on them as well. You know what? We're past January. We're into February, and for some reason it's getting colder. But look, the joys of doing this, Hamish. I love it. I'm so passionate about the channel. Love Celtic. Everything's great. But most importantly, Daizen Maeda is keep my spirits up. Another breathtaking performance from the main man today.
Yes, I sense we're going to chat about him a fair bit in this video. Your issues with the weather, clearly, and with Scotland rather than Celtic, because I thought that was a pretty good performance. In fact, more than that, to be honest. Another 5 goals, a clean sheet. Of course, it's lower league opposition, but I think it's a real credit to this team that they're not just doing the bare minimum to get past teams like Raith and midweek against Dundee. They're really turning on the style at the moment.
Yeah, they are. They're doing very well. And, the thing is, again, just like Dundee as well, it was one of the ones we went into the game. I mean, I think I shoved on 4-0 today. I mean, we already knew we were going to go in and win it comfortably, but when you've made so many changes, that especially in defence, it can always pan out that the other team, the underdog, will get a wee bit of a lift from it before the game. They get a shot goal even, and then naturally, you know what? I was actually comparing it more to, we made a lot of changes. Remember earlier in the season against Falkirk, and we saw what happened there. We had to bring on the big guns with 20 minutes to go to see it out. So I think Brendan wanted to avoid that today. The team probably wanted to avoid something like that today, and they did. And even credit to them with so many changes. I actually was glad when I saw the team line up. That we made these changes, especially in defence, and we rested some of our big dogs as well. So I was glad to see that. I think that was really important that we have one eye in the Bayern game, because that's just undoubtedly going to be a huge game for us. But no, honestly, as I say, team are very professional, and they went in to that game knowing, that all it took was like as soon as they get the first goal, we're never going to look back, and it was pretty much game over, wasn't it? But we capitalised on a mistake in the back with Raith Rovers. I think Bernardo did well, good bit of battling qualities to get that ball through to Maeda. Great first time finish by the goalie, and then since that, and as I say, that was different opposition. Maybe Hearts or Hibs. That's obviously, I mean, that back line's for a start, that's not getting selected, but obviously the side would be 1-0 up and it's game over. Like against Raith Rovers, though, I think it was a case of that first goal was really settled us and never looked back from it. But I think the attitude was first class today. There was a moment I noticed today, right, that I think it was about maybe 20 odd minutes in, Hamish, where I think still 1-0 up. Raith Rovers had the ball. They won the ball for like McGregor or maybe McCown. Celtic players were just swarming them, like 3 or 4 Celtic players swarming Raith Rovers players, and I love to see that. Like a real hunger and desire, no matter the opposition. There's a real hunger and desire to completely dominate that game today and make it a real spectacle for the fans that turned up. So that's very pleasing for me today.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think it's the attitude the players are showing at the moment. As I say, like today with Bayern Munich ahead in a few days' time, by the way, I thought it was interesting. Raith Rovers were wearing a kind of Bayern Munich kit, almost like a dress rehearsal. But ahead of that game, with the game tonight against lower league opposition in the Cup, you make 9 changes. Sinizalo's in for the first time this season. Dane Murray's making his first start. There was a number of other players who maybe we haven't seen generally. I think there was a lot of reasons for the team just to kind of go through the motions today, maybe be a bit disjointed. You mentioned the Falkirk game at the start of the season, and that was the word that day. It was pretty disjointed. I think the difference now is that players are kind of up to speed now, and there's just a feeling that guys like Ralston come in and Luke McCowan and Yang today, and Bernardo, guys like that who don't necessarily start too many games. Liam Scales is another one. They come in and they just do what's required and really make the most of their minutes on the pitch. And I guess some of them maybe, give the manager stuff to think about. Probably not for Wednesday night, because I think his team's probably pretty set for Wednesday. But, get guys like Yang, give Brendan Rodgers something to think about. And, Jeffrey Schlupp, I thought had a good game, and Dane Murray was pretty solid. So, no, I agree with you. I think it's the energy at the moment. We do need to speak, though, about Daizen Maeda. And it's kind of bittersweet, Stevie, because everything we say here is said with knowing that he's not going to be able to play on Wednesday night, which is pretty gutting, because I think he would genuinely cause Bayern Munich issues on Wednesday night. But anyway, we've got the second leg for that. Hopefully we're still in things. He is brilliant, isn't he? It's 50 goals now he's got for Celtic. I think it's 21 of those this season, and we're only February the 9th, so that shows how many goals he scored this season, and he's going to hit 30 goals.
Yeah, I mean, again, I've already waxed lyrical about Daizen Maeda on here on the channel, to read so as well, gig pod, so they have to do it again today. Clinical, just absolutely clinical. Again, you're noticing today, like that, maybe last season or that, he would have scored that hat-trick, but there would have been 3 or 4 other missed chances. There's 3 chances they had today. Scored in, am I not right in saying, it was the quarter-final last season, he scored a hat-trick against Livingston, didn't he?
I was going to say that. I think he scored 3 hat-tricks for us, and I think they've all been in the Cup. So I think 2 of them were in the Scottish Cup, and against Aberdeen, 6-0, he scored a hat-trick as well, didn't he? So it's kind of bizarre, because I don't think he's managed any in the league.
That's a very good shout, actually.
Could say, Stevie, he's up for the Cup.
Yes. He's up for every game. That's it. He's up for a friendly. Even if it was like a friendly, like or something we're playing, he's running about and closing players down. Like, scored his hat-trick, and then he's already sprinting after the Raith Rovers defence when the ball was played back. Like, marvel of a player. Honestly, I'm starting to now worry, though, that the numbers that he's getting this season, I'm starting to worry about in the summer, that teams coming in for him. I know I don't want to
just enjoy him, Stevie. Just enjoy him.
I'm bloody enjoying him, and I can't really imagine a Celtic without him. So yeah, right again today. Just so clinical, and finish again the way they didn't even have to think about the first one. Just first time, left foot. Raith Rovers goalie flat-footed with it, and also his other 2 goals. Again, close tap-ins, but Luke McCown's ball across for his hat-trick was a cracker. Great, you just can't defend those. And if I talk about assists as well, Ralston, again, with another great cross for Yang's goal. Beautiful ball in. But you're talking about Maeda. Just, honestly, a real privilege to watch him now, and the improvement we're seeing week upon week. It's spectacular, and as I say, as you say, even an absolute miss against Bayern. It's gutting that he's out, because I do firmly believe a guy like Daizen Maeda would cause them problems. I mean, it's easy to scoff at that if you're not a Celtic fan watching this, but look what he's done already in the Champions League. 3 goals, 3 big goals for us. Firmly believe that he's going to be a massive miss, and really it's down to Kuhn and Jota, I guess, to step up. It's going to be very difficult, though, because none of them are playing the same way that Daizen Maeda does, Hamish.
Yeah, Wednesday night's the big one. We're clearly going to see probably 9 changes again to the team, possibly, 9 changes, something like that. So there's a good few players we saw today that clearly aren't going to play a part, but I want to just run through a few, and you can give me your thoughts on how they fared today. So Viljami Sinizalo, very little to do. I think he had 1 in the first half, didn't he? From that Raith counter-attack, and the guy... was it Jamie Gullen, I think, tries to lob him. I think it's going wide. I'm pretty sure it was going wide regardless. So he probably didn't have to save it. He kind of did all right. He's hard to judge him when he didn't have much to do.
Yes, I think there was a couple of corners that he could have caught, and he punched or parried, and that was the only thing there that usually with Michael you're seeing him clutching that, and you've got total belief there. But what I would say with Sinizalo, what I noticed in the second half a lot from, again, when I was sitting, constant communication with his defence. Like, he was all game, he was screaming at the likes of Dane Murray and Liam Scales, and it's good for Dane Murray because he'll be able to learn for that type of presence behind him. He was constantly telling him what position to get into, always telling him to move a bit out wide left. So I liked that for Sinisalo, that he was constantly, communicating with his defence there. Because it's easy in these type of games just to switch off, job's done, you know what I mean, when it's 2-0. And then after that, you know what I mean, you're seeing the game out and it's becoming a bit of a friendly affair. But no, I think Sinisalo, he'll probably know though. He's got far harder games to come than that, Hamish. So, yeah, I liked what I saw in terms of the communication side of it. And I'm sure he'll improve when it comes to the set pieces with the criticism that are given him there. But, I think he's got a fair bit to go until Schmeichel's dislodged for the number one spot.
Yeah, glad to see him starting today. And I wasn't really expecting to see him because there's been a few opportunities this season to start him in cup games, and the manager has always gone for Kasper Schmeichel up until today. So I was pleased to see him in. Just let Kasper rest for Wednesday when he's probably going to have a pretty busy night. Yeah, the same goes for Trusty and Carter Vickers again. Just sensible, and I'm really pleased. I mean, we made 9 changes and still won 5-0, so I think it's great. Right, Dane Murray looks like a player to me. Like he's stature's good, decent with the ball at his feet. I think he can probably improve, and he certainly will going forward. Again, the caveat is he was Raith Rovers and he didn't have a lot to do. But yeah, I think he's potentially got something, and I'm glad he started again today, because after being talked up by Brendan Rodgers, I think at the end of the transfer window last week, and obviously played against Aston Villa and had a bit of a nightmare for their 4th goal. I'm glad he was in pretty quickly after that and was able to have a solid game.
Yeah, and there was a bit today as well where he had a sprint. I think it was at 4-0. He had a sprint down the second half with a Raith player too, who wasn't a slow coach by any means, but not after being 70-75 minutes or so. He won it fairly comfortably, played it back to Sinisalo. I liked that as well. So he was fully focused today, and I think you're right. Brendan talked him up, didn't he, after the Aston Villa game anyway. He's got all the attributes to be a really good player. You just got to learn as much as he can for the likes of Carter Vickers and Trusty ahead of him. And I don't, him and Liam Scales are fine today, but again, that was one of the... it was a suitable game for Dane Murray, but I think he'll have further tests as the season goes on. Maybe not this season, but next.
Jeff Schlupp.
It's weird. I don't know if people agree with this. See on the ball, doesn't give it away a lot. He plays a lot of safe passes, but I mean that's maybe the experience there. But it's strange when I see Schlupp as well, because seeing it, I mean, this is coming from me here, and this is going to sound absolutely hypocritical, because anybody that sees me, or the state of me trying to, in fact, I can't even remember the last time I did run, maybe when the chippy was shutting, but he shifts very awkwardly. It's strange. But then saying that, I've not really seen him get into a full sprint at all today. He played that game at a general walking pace, and that's maybe saying a lot about his experience as well. So it's hard to read too much into that. He'll be available, won't he, for the Bayern Munich game?
He's in the squad.
So, it's going to be interesting to see how his experience will play for that game, or for higher profile games against Rangers next month and everything. But it was like walking pace for him at that times. But I mean, for what he's used to in his career, a game against Raith Rovers like that will not have phased him one bit, of course.
Yeah, he was actually born in Germany, Jeff Schlupp, so obviously up against German opposition on Wednesday night. Yeah, I thought he had a good game. The big takeaway from the probably 90-odd minutes we've seen him so far is that he's really playing that inverted role.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's something... I think it's something he's clearly been asked to do. There was a moment in the first half where he ended up in the right wing, like he was taking it to the extreme. But clearly that's something he's probably quite adept at doing anyway, because we know he can play centre mid as well. He's done that previously in his career, so I don't mind that. I think you're right. I just, like I said the other night, I just think he needs like a big lung busting run up the wing, or a big 50-50 challenge just to fully arrive. Because he was absolutely fine today. Like, I thought he had a good game, but just needs to fully arrive, and I'm sure he'll do that. So I'm quite hopeful about Jeff Schlupp. Yang. And sorry any Yang fans for the surprise in my voice there. but potentially Yang's best game for Celtic. I mean, he was brilliant, and that finish is the single best thing Yang's done for Celtic. Because I thought that was real hopeful signs of improvement, the way he took that, because he had a lot of time to think about it, and no disrespect, but I really didn't expect him to smash that into the bottom corner. It was a great ball from Ralston and a great finish.
You mentioned that. I think it was more as well latching on to Kuhn's ball in the first half and the perfect pass for Maeda's second, which impressed me.
Yeah.
But seen a lot of false dawns before with Yang, and I'll hold off sort of going to complimentary here. I think he's got to build on that. That was good today. I'll give him that, but he's got a long way to go before I want to see him anywhere near starting for Celtic with who we've got available. Those type of games are fine, and I'm glad he did well, and he did. But at the same time, I think Yang's got a long way to go before we're shouting for him to be starting ahead of Kuhn, Jota or Maeda. So sorry to bring it down, but I'm just being realistic and honest.
Such a hard man to please.
Well, in fairness, it is Baltic, Hamish, and I'm just at that point where I'm very, very grouchy, as always. Come on, give me a break. I've not it's not any dinner either, come on.
Dear. I agree. I mean, we need to see more from Yang. I thought it was really good today. Actually, I'm glad you brought up the pass for Kyogo. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Daizen's goal. It was quite a Kyogo-like goal, actually, but the pass from Yang was brilliant.
It was.
Pleased.
I was giving you that one. It was very much a finish, dear old number 8. So, yes, I'll give you that one.
And we're probably going to see Yang off the bench on Wednesday, aren't we? Because we don't exactly have any other wing options now, do we? Because assuming James Forrest isn't back, yeah. So hopefully he can build on that. I remember him coming on against Leipzig and having a really good game in the Champions League. So that's all well and good. Right, we'll round this up quickly, Stevie. Any other players you want to touch on?
Daizen. No, I mean, it would have been nice to see Johnny Kenny get a goal. I was kind of rooting for that, actually. But no, I think we've covered them all. The players that, Sinisalo getting his debut, Murray featuring well, Schlupp having a generally relaxed game. And as you say, Yang certainly improving. And maybe just, again, another shout out to Ralston, who I thought played very, very well. I must admit, I wouldn't say lost hope, but I was getting a wee bit frustrated at times with Ralston this season, and the drop-off between, Alistair Johnston and Ralston is very noticeable. But since he's come back in, the day and also the game against Motherwell, he's been a lot more competent, and the most importantly with him, that's now 2 really good assists, no daft crosses when he punted it out of the park, and we'll remember that one against Atlanta, don't we? Sorry, not Atlanta, Zagreb, such a good position, and he's blittered it out, so we've seen that less and less. So I just don't want to really come on and not give him a bit of credit. I think Ralston in the last few weeks has played pretty well, and that's been 2 really, really quality assists he's put in.
And he had one today that was offside, wasn't it? Was it Daizen at the back post just before Daizen's second goal, where he shifted it and crossed it. He's really good at that, Ralston. He had no options on, so he just shifted it. Even Mike Naropski got on, Stevie. So Brendan was clearly feeling charitable today. Okay. I thought you had something to say about Mike Naropski, but if you don't, that's fine. We'll move on. Okay, just for anyone wondering, the draw is on Monday evening. I believe St Mirren versus Hearts is the live TV game, so it'll be after that. And we're in a good place, Stevie. How are you feeling briefly about Wednesday night in Bayern Munich?
It's going to be a very different game. As I say, look, I felt if we really spent money ahead of these 2 games and took them ultra seriously, I'd be feeling better. But we can only go back to the team now. That's always what we will do. Try and get behind them as much as possible. And again, the only thing, look, I'm asked, the week after Munich, I don't expect much. I expect Bayern to roll over the top. Don't want to be defeatist, I'm just being honest. If we can go into that game, hold on to something, whether that be a tight win or even a draw, fine. I just want to go into that second game knowing that we've got something to play for. I don't want to go into it, going behind and you're just getting in it. It's a dead rubber, and the fans are going over just for a laugh and all that, but there's no, competitive action to be had, and feeling positive about the football as well. Like, I want to be seeing Celtic going over there with a slight chance, but a chance nonetheless to do something, progress. You know how much I've been on about the Champions League in Europe before we fit into this season. Like, I want to see us progress, and I want to see us go as far as we can. Understand how difficult it's going to be. Bayern have made mugs of plenty of sides, and even bigger sides than us. But I understand it's going to be a really difficult game. But as I said, I've seen them this season, Hamish, and they've gave away some right daft goals. They were beating Holstein Kiel, and then they scored 3 goals out of nothing. And there's been many other times this season where they've won by tight, unconvincing scoreline. So the Feyenoord game that they played gives me a wee bit of hope, because I think us and Feyenoord, there's no too much of a difference there. They went over to the Netherlands and get thumped 3-0. Don't think it's going to be anything like that. They've probably learned from it. And they also had Feyenoord's goalie was outstanding that night too. They had loads of chances, and Feyenoord took theirs. Maybe if we're looking for Kasper Schmeichel in the defence to have blinders. We're looking for our attackers to be as clinical as possible. So hopefully we can get something and just take it to Germany with us and give ourselves just a slight chance and reason to be optimistic and hopeful, Hamish. That's it.
Yeah, well, we've got it to look forward to at this stage, and that's the thing. Nothing's going to change between now and kick-off, so we can get excited, and maybe even you can dream, Stevie. Dream of the impossible.
Well, all I'm dreaming of now is getting up the road and getting that heater on, because it is brutal. I don't want to be swearing or shouting or green, but it is so cold. Honestly, I'm sorry.
You've barely, honestly, you've done this video and you've barely mentioned how cold it is. It's been some effort. Okay, we'll let you go there. Really appreciate your efforts, Steve. Just finally, by the way, Christopher Ayer was at Celtic Park today. Just for anyone who didn't notice. Good on him, still supporting the club. Okay, Stevie, head off. What's your plans now? You going to the pub or are you going straight home?
Straight home, get a chippy and go to bed.
Oh, jealous. Well, I'll probably get up and make some breakfast now. There's no much point in me going back to bed, so that's the way things go. Okay, everyone, thanks for watching. Celtic through to the quarterfinals of the Scottish Cup. We've beaten Raith Rovers 5-0. Next up, Bayern Munich.